What's up, everybody? This is Colton here with Grand Valley Sporting Goods again with our final bow review. Today we're talking about Elite. Took us a little while to do this one because we initially got in our bows, I think launch day or maybe just before that, and ended up selling one of these bows, so I couldn't do a full review, and finally got a replacement in. So now it's time to talk about these bows. So starting right off the bat, we got the new Elite Artus here. This is the aluminum version that they came out with, and it's a shorter axle bow for most of you tree stand hunters and saddle hunters out there. Typically Elite sticks with longer bows, which I personally like, but it's really nice to give a short option out there for people that like a shorter axle bow. So if you like a shorter axle bow, this is definitely one that I would put in the lineup to try this year if you're looking for a new bow for 2025. So let's run through the specs here real quick. So axle to axle, this is 30 1/16 of an inch. IBO is up to 340 feet per second. Brace height is 6 7/8 inches. Draw length is from 25 inches to 30.5, so it covers a lot of people out there. Peak weight limb options, 40, 50, 60, 70. They might have them 65 too. Yeah, 65, 70, and 75 pounds. So plenty good options out there, and especially if you like running over 70 pounds, it gives you a pretty good option there. And mass weight of 4.7 pounds, so pretty average, maybe a little bit over average as far as weight goes for aluminum bow. And what's really cool, if you're not familiar with Elite, is let off options. They have an adjustable let off option on the mod from 70% all the way up to 90%, and you can kind of fine tune that, which is really cool as well. And one thing I forgot to talk about when we were talking about the draw length is 1/4 inch draw length adjustments. So average person's really not going to utilize it, but if you are really into tinkering and you're really picky about draw length, it's nice that you can adjust the draw length by 1/4 inch and really fine tune that. So couple of new things that Elite came out with. So new cam system compared to last year's model. So supposedly it's a faster cam system, a little bit smoother draw. They added this split yoke harness here, which frankly every company is doing this year. So there must have been a patent that ran out, but really the main thing that you're gonna gain with this is because the pressure from this yoke system here is spread out wider from the cam, you get a lot wider stance on it. Typically is going to hold a little bit better just because it supports that cam a little bit better, and you get less cam lean out of it too, which is really nice. Tuning features on this too. They came out with this, it should have been last year, to where you have this limb pocket shift system. So you can still swap out spacers to get like a coarse adjustment, but you can fine tune with this limb pocket here to get your left and right tears and kind of have a micro adjust with that as well, which is super nice. So one of the things that they added this year is they threw an attachment system on the top and bottom limb pocket, which is a pick mount, and they came out with a new accessory line. One of the main things being, and a lot of people that shoot Elite are going to be excited about this, but a new limb leg system that attaches to that pick mount, which is really cool. It keeps your cam out of the dirt, and it's a very solid system. We got one in and it actually sold, so I just have another limb leg on here, but insert stock photo right up here so you can see what that looks like. But then they have a pretty cool hoist rope system, and then a new sling that attaches the top and bottom, which is pretty sweet as well. So definitely like the kind of integrated attachments that these companies are coming out with. And then you get a pick mount for your sight as well, which isn't new. I believe they had that on last year's models as well, but that should be everything new besides like, you know, new riser design specs and everything like that. So a couple things with Elite that I personally like is one, their grip. So as you probably know if you've seen in the other videos, that I like a smaller, a little bit more rigid corner grip system, And I do like Elite's grip. I think the grip angle is great, and it just feels really good in my hand, but it's definitely worth trying at. If you're not local to us here in Allendale, Michigan, definitely try at your local Elite dealer. Support those guys, because we got to support the small businesses, especially the bow shops, because if you ever run into an issue, you need them, and you need a good relationship with them for support if you need it. And then they have, like other companies do, two stabilizer mount systems. So they give you a little dampener at the bottom, but you can definitely put a stabilizer in that, get a lower center point of gravity, and then just also the traditional spot for a stabilizer as well. And Elite in general, especially if you haven't bought a new bow in a while, Elite is still on the new side of archery companies out there, bow companies out there, but they have a really good offering. Generally, they kind of pride themselves as a smoother drawing bow, a little bit more forgiving. They kind of favor towards roughly the longer brace heights. I don't think they've really came out with a short, like 5.5, low 6 inch brace height for that. But it's one of the companies that I think a lot of people overlook too. So I mean, it's definitely worth shooting. And then you can run all the integrate systems on it. So they also do have a dovetail on the back, so you can integrate with that with QAD, and then with the ripcords as well. But also, companies really need to start doing this more, but they have the spots drilled and tapped for the core mount system for Hamskea too, which is really nice. So that's pretty much it with the Elite Artus here. So next up, we got the new Carbon EON. So we'll pull that out here real quick. All right, so this is Elite's new carbon bow for this year, the Carbon EON. One thing I will say about Elite too is their carbon bows are, in my opinion, truly a good carbon bow, because you buy carbon, you're looking for lightweight being the main feature. And this is going to be a pretty lightweight carbon bow. Between Elite and PSE, really those are the two lighter weight carbon bows out there. So same concept with this new bow. So they have the new cam system. You get 1/4 inch adjustment on the draw length, adjustable let off as well. One thing that you're going to sacrifice though is it doesn't have a pick mount, just because this riser is really thin to be able to put a pick mount on, and then they don't have anything to run integrated. So you're gonna have to just run a traditional universal style rest, and then just a traditional sight mounting option for that. So they have the same new features that the Artus has on this carbon bow. So it's gonna be the new cam system. You still get 1/4 inch adjustment for draw length on the mods, adjustable let off, which is really nice. And then they have the pick mounts for attaching their new accessories as well. So run through the specs on this. Axle length is 31 5/16. So kind of good middle of the road, where they'll get maybe some of the shorter axle bows, but it's kind of getting into longer stuff. So kind of a good, in my opinion, medium axle length. IBO is up to 336 feet per second. Brace height is 7 1/16, so pretty forgiving brace height there. Draw length adjustment, again in 1/4 inch from 25.5 all the way up to 31, so that gets some of you long draw people in there as well. Peak weight limb options of 40, 50, 60, 65, and 70 pounds. They don't offer a 70 pound or 75 pound limb weight option in this bow as of yet, but they might offer that maybe in the new carbon bow for next year. And a mass weight of 4 pounds flat. So fairly lightweight as far as the length of the bow goes. And then let off options from 70 to 90%. So same thing, shot this bow when it first came in, just pretty typical with Elite, pretty smooth draw in my opinion at my draw length, and shot really well. You'll see the speed tests here in a moment between the two bows, but yeah, pretty impressed as far as Elite goes. And I think like I said, with Artus, if you're looking to try a new bow this year, I would definitely give Elite a try, because it's not a bow company really overlooked. They're not as popular maybe as, like, you know, the big three, Hoyt, Matthews, Bowtech, but you might be surprised. So, you know, if your local dealer has one, I would definitely ask them to set it up to give it a try. So all in all, that's going to be it. So let's run through the speed test. We're going to go 28, 29, and 30, just like all the other reviews that we've done. So yeah, here's the speed test. All right, so we're going to start the speed test. We're going to start with the Elite Artus here. And these are at 30 inches and 70 pounds. Shooting our Easton Sonic. That's exactly 350 grains. So we'll go 2 shots each. .326. And another .326. All right, next up we got the Elite Carbon EON. And these are set to 85% let off, by the way. About the same draw cycle through both. .322. .323. All right, Drew and I will set these to 29 inches and try them again. All right, so we got these both to 29 inches. See what we get. .315. .316. Oops. Now for the Carbon EON. .314. .313. All right, let's set these up to 28. All right, 28 inches. Let's go. .306. And another 306. Now for the Carbon EON. Oh, forgot to write it down. Should probably do that first. 304. .303. All right, that's it for the speed tests. So just to remind you, just kind of the reason why we did them at multiple draw lengths is so you can kind of see cam efficiency. So like with some bows, you can see less of a difference between say 29 and 30, and then a greater difference between 28 and 29 and vice versa. But all in all, the short axle bows were kind of around the same speed, the high 320s, low 330s, and then the longer bows were about roughly 7 to 10 feet a second slower, of course, depending on the draw length. So, Drew, if you want to kind of put all this in frame, so those watching, you can take kind of a screenshot or pause your video so you can kind of see at roughly your draw length where the speeds are going to go. But yeah, it took us longer than we expected to do the speed test, so sorry about that. A lot of things with holidays and show season kind of gets in the way a little bit, but next year when the new bows come out, we'll try to get these out a lot sooner for you guys. But if you stuck with us through the whole bow review speed test thing, we really appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching this video. It really means a lot, helps us grow the channel, and we're trying to do more cool stuff down the road for you guys, more on the tinkering side of things. You know, we'll show new products, new cool products that are getting a lot of attention. So as always, again, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and comment in here. Let us know what bow was kind of the most impressive as far as speed goes. Was it kind of what you expected? And let us know what bow you're gonna shoot this year. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.